And our guest for this discussion is Dr. Chibuka Mohammed, who is an economist and lecturer at Kampala International University. We're looking at the prospects of Uganda's post-COVID-19 recovery. How best can we do it? Due to some issues with technicalities, we couldn't link up with the hotel management guest because we were intending to have a Zoom interface in regards to that matter. But now we look at the critical analysis of Uganda's economy with Dr. Chibuka Mohammed, who's an economist, like I said, and a lecturer at Kampala International University, KIU.
It obviously has an impact to Uganda. Uganda is a former colony of Britain. We have a lot of attachment to Britain, and the euro is coming from European countries, where Uganda is having a big attachment. So a big attachment in a way that we have a lot of funders from those countries, but not only funders, but a lot of products we buy in Uganda are from European countries. So whenever the euro drops, you can talk of the benefits Uganda is going to get by now the products from European countries or from European Union becoming now cheaper to acquire in Uganda. And it reduces the dominance of the dollar in Uganda. Since we have a lot of inclination to European countries where we get a lot of products, obviously we have that as an advantage. So the impact is more of an advantage than a disadvantage. Different ways in which a country can strengthen its currencies, those which have been used in history, and a country may choose which one to take. For example, it can be a government decree that for us, 1 shilling, $1, and that one will work. If not highly encouraged by economists of a country's government decree, but the other way, which is more sustainable, is called import substitution strategy. When a country encourages local production of the goods which it has been importing from other countries. So whenever you reduce the importations from other countries, and probably you increase the supply of your goods to other countries, that is the most important way of strengthening a country's economy. It looks obvious, and somebody may say, why don't we do it? Of recent, you have seen the government is trying at least to attract the manufacturers of different products to come and at least produce them from here, so that you can reduce the importation. It obviously has an impact to Uganda. Uganda is a former colony of Britain. We have a lot of attachment to Britain, and the euro is coming from European countries, where Uganda is having a big attachment. So a big attachment in a way that we have a lot of funders from those countries, but not only funders, but a lot of products we buy in Uganda are from European countries. So whenever the euro drops, you can talk of the benefits Uganda is going to get by now the products from European countries or from European Union becoming now cheaper to acquire in Uganda, and it reduces the dominance of the dollar in Uganda. Since we have a lot of inclination to European countries where we get a lot of products, obviously we have that as an advantage. So the impact is more of an advantage than a disadvantage. Different ways in which a country can strengthen its currencies, those which have been used in history, and a country may choose which one to take. For example, it can be a government decree that for us, 1 shilling, $1, and that one will work if a country would wish. But of course, it cannot go without some other repercussions from the countries affected. Yeah, that is not highly encouraged by economists of a country's government decree. But the other way, which is more sustainable, is called import substitution strategy. When a country encourages local production of the goods which it has been importing. So whenever you reduce the importations from other countries, and probably you increase the supply of your goods to other countries, that is the most important way of strengthening a country's economy. It looks obvious, and somebody may say, why don't we do it? Of recent, you have seen the government is trying at least to attract the manufacturers of different products to come and at least produce them from here, so that you can reduce the importation, because whenever you are importing, you are spending the little currencies you have. You are spending it, because when you are buying, for example, goods from America, you don't pay by Uganda shillings, you pay by dollars. So, and the more goods you buy, the higher the demand for the dollars. And the higher the demand, the higher the price of the dollar. That's what it means. So that's why you have seen that because Uganda imports a lot from America, and America imports a little from Uganda, the demand for dollar in Uganda is very high compared to the demand of Uganda shillings in America. So obviously the dollar in Uganda will be higher and the shillings in USA will be lower. Yeah, so the best way a country can strengthen her currency is by encouraging local production. In economics, we call it the import substitution and export promotion. Yeah. As a person, I think going to a level of a common currency is a stage of economic integration. Like the East African community, we are in what we call economic integration. There are different levels. We come from, for example, opening up borders where people can cross without being asked for passports of their nationalities. Then from that level, countries can go to opening of borders for goods, where your goods are not charged taxes, or if they are charged, the taxes are reduced, or preferentially, there could be some products which they say the taxes are off. That's another level. When the countries succeed in their economic cooperation, because economic integration is cooperation, when they succeed in that level of cooperation, they go on increasing the cooperation until they become almost one state. So there are stages. They reach that stage where they say, I think we can even use one currency across. And once they use one currency across, the other currencies may lose the impact. Because when you want to buy from, let me say, Kenya, you are using the same currency. But it also depends on the level of cooperation they have reached. If, like you see, European countries, somewhere, somehow, they only join, they have a common currency, but other things share. So in the East African community, it will depend on what we want to share. If we want only to share the common currency and we are not sharing other things, we are not the currency, it will mean that the local currencies will remain. Will have to remain, because Uganda remains Uganda wherever it will go. But if the cooperation comes on building, just like a child grows until you reach a common currency, and then there is even where you reach and you are having a common army, just like you see the United States of America. So you are no longer called your Uganda, but you are called the United States of East Africa. There, once you get a common currency, it is of benefit, because cooperation is power. Cooperation is power. All countries which have formed strong economic blocks are more powerful than the small units of individual states. In my view, it is all about the economic independence of a country. I don't see it in a negative direction. I see it in a positive direction. That if a country can print its own currency, it has increased the capacity, and therefore its independence has increased. Because it is not another country deciding for you, it is you deciding for yourself. It has only one issue of what you call maturity, economic maturity, but even maturity in other aspects. That for a country to produce or to print its own currency, there should be some good level of maturity, especially among the leaders, among the policymakers, and among the people themselves, about how to deal with the currencies. When there is no maturity and everybody do what they want, obviously the economy can be distorted, because it is completely in your hands. So independence goes with the maturity. It's like a child. The child's independence is reduced because they are not yet mature, but as they mature, their independence is increased. So if our leaders, for example, believe they are now ready to handle, to control, and they have inculcated it into us, the masses, then printing our currency is better. Obviously, having no governor for Bank of Uganda or for any central bank in any country is not something good. The direction of the economy, the central eye is having a defect because the leader, the top leader, is not there. A lot of signatures which are needed from the governor, for example, are now being missed, and probably we are using the old signatures. The confidence, for example, of other directors in the Bank of Uganda is not as at the level of the confidence a governor would be. So even if somebody is seated in the capacity of acting governor, we need a full governor. Because I think since the governor died, it is now how long? It has taken time, and anybody in the acting capacity in a policy-based office like that one, it has a limit. It cannot go beyond 6 months in the acting capacity. Yeah, so the justification for not having a new governor by now, I don't know whether they are economic really. There could be other factors, not necessarily economic.